Hey everyone, welcome to the program. My name is John and this is The Geek and I, and today we are going over episode 1 of the Disney Plus series Andor. Now, I watched all 3 last night once I got home, and I must say, I did fall asleep a couple of times and had to rewind. Could have been just because I was tired. The show is a little bit of a slow burn. It takes a while to get into, mainly until episode 3, but I do enjoy the program. I think having the more adult, shall we say, more adult TV experience is a little refreshing, whereas, Kenobi felt like it was made for kids, with the little girl, the little Princess Leia, and, they teased us with Luke Skywalker, saying that, you thought this was going to be about him protecting Luke Skywalker, but, all of a sudden they throw the Princess Leia in there, and now he's got to go off and protect Princess Leia, which, you never got a feeling in the originals that, he did any of this stuff. And they kind of like just shoehorned her in there to make Princess Leia feel like she was just as important, if not more important than Luke was. But that's neither here nor there, because we're talking about Andor, and Andor is great. The number one thing I like about this show is it is not on Tatooine. I cannot tell you how I am so tired of shows being on Tatooine. It's, I think Anakin was correct in saying that, the sand is, it's coarse, it's rough, and it gets everywhere. And, after a while, I was tired of seeing sand and Tatooine, and, it was just ridiculous. And going into Andor, it is a nice change to have a little bit of rain, come down, a little grittiness, a world that seems lived in again. Now, I do know it takes, this is before anything, this is 5 years before, and that's another thing I liked, the 5 BBY, but we'll get into that as we go over this, this episode here, and the beginning, I like it as a beginning. I think, stuff like this gives us a feel of what the world is going to be like. It's rough, it's gritty, it's rainy, it's wet. There are things happening in there. I like the fact that, Andor, you don't know what he's doing. You have an idea. You kind of think you know what he's doing, with being, having the Rogue One experience. And that's awesome, the BBY5. I think it should be the other way around. It should be 5 BBY, but that's just me. I'm a 5 before the Battle of Yavin type of guy, not... I guess it could go either way. You could let me know what you think in the comment section. But this here, there's a couple of things that I thought was a little weird. Like what are these bubble people? Are they going to explain what they never explain? Is that just like I know he's going into a brothel. Is that just the like the advertisements for the brothel? You kind of wondering what he's doing, and it's nice to see an actual set.
Credit.
And he gets, he gets checked here because, the Empire is looking for people, and they want to keep folks off. And he walks into the brothel and he meets this flat top lady who I thought was kind of cute looking. She had kind of like she kind of looked like Rey Skywalker in the close-ups. Her mouth, her smile, the way she had that accent. And here's Andor looking for his sister. Now, you don't know who the sister is, and why he's looking for her, but we have these two guys in the background who turn out to be, I guess, kind of like security for the planet, for the whatever corporation runs this planet. The Empire is everywhere by now, and you kind of get the feeling that if you can run your own world and keep it safe, and stay down low and stay in the shadows, so to speak, the Empire's not going to bother you too much. I'm sure there's going to be times where the Empire has to come in and check in on you to see what you're doing and how you're doing it, but you kind of get the feeling that you guys are on your own. You can take care of yourselves here, and Andor gets the information that his sister was here a while ago, or what he thinks might have been his sister. But nobody leaves their real name apparently, and just to keep it safe. And so he leaves, and these two goons that were in the bar, they confront him, and he offers up 300 credits that he has in his pocket, and they're just gonna take that and rob him. And, because they say basically, 300 credits, that's exactly what we need for all the fees and stuff, So, they're just going to take it as a bribe, and, he wants nothing to do with it. So he's like, it's in my pocket, and, no, it's in my other pocket. And then as he reaches in, they start firing, and there's a big fight scene, and he ends up killing these two guys, and you kind of get the feeling that, he doesn't want to kill them, but there is something down deep inside that he knows he's got to do what he's got to do to get things done. And I think that's a lead-in to his character arc, and what he will become, and why he gets the attention of the rebellion. Because in Rogue One he ran into that guy in the very beginning, and the guy told him that they got a planet killer, and the guy's got a broken arm, and he can't climb out of there. So what does Andor do? He's got to keep it quiet. So he pops the guy, and that's just this here is kind of like you would say a tease into what he is going to become. Where, he kills this guy, and then just this guy's begging for his life, and Andor's got that look of, what am I going to do, and what should we do? And the guy's like, hey, let's make up a report. I'll take you to the police station. We'll say he fell, and we'll make something up, and everybody will be safe. And Andor's like, what? I can't risk that. I've got something to do, and you're in my way, and I'm going to take care of you for it. And that's what he does. He just holds up that blaster and that's it. He kills the guy there in the street, and that's what sets off this whole series. Because there's a bunch of cops later on. They flash back to, I guess they're going back to Andor's home life. But let's see if we can find it here. This guy, he's here, and he wants to go investigate. He's got, he's like, our 2 guys were killed in the street, and we need to find out who did it, and we need an investigation, and we need to bring this guy to justice. And then this guy right here is probably my favorite character so far. He reminds me, and this whole office, the way it looks, gives me and especially this guy here, gives me a Sean Connery type of martial feeling from Outland. And I thought this guy was awesome, saying, hey, if we're just what were they doing there? They're not supposed to be there. The place is not supposed to exist. How did they have enough money to actually go into this place that's not supposed to be there and they're not supposed to be at? And how do we explain, let's just make up something. Let's sweep it under the rug. I got to go talk to the Empire. They're sending somebody down, and when you get in a position like mine, you'll understand that this is the way things need to go if we want to keep the Empire off our ass, type of thing. And he's just not having it, and he basically threatens this dude. He's like, "Look, leave it alone. We're not doing anything." So the guy, he's just upset that his I don't know if they're his buddies, but they're his comrades, his friends, that he wants to find out who did this. And I can see this guy's character in the future becoming a big storyline, where he starts off as this little meek guy, and you'll see, later on in a couple of episodes, I think it's episode 2 or 3, where he meets, he's got to give a speech, and he's got to find out where Andor went or who killed him, and you find out that I think he's going to be he's going to turn into a big bad, which is really cool, to see where, how Andor, it's probably, their storylines are going to mimic one another, where, Andor does what he has to do, and what he sees and what he does sends him to the rebellion, whereas this other guy, what he does and what he sees sends him off to the Empire. I can see him being a big Empire officer, Imperial officer later on, and I think that's really neat how they're doing.
Wants to know if we're in on it.
I'm guessing that's what the story arc is going to be. So Andor's still looking for his sister, and then we have flashbacks to these jungle kids. You learn that, and I don't know if it was just my TV, but these kids say stuff, and there's no subtitles. And I looked for subtitles, on the Roku, and there was no subtitles, so you have no idea what they're saying when they're talking to each other. But you learn that this is a planet that, and I'm assuming that it is probably You know, if Andor is 5 years before the Battle of Yavin, you know, you could say this is probably, I mean, that's Andor there. And, you know, how old is he there? 10? 10 years old, so this is 15 years before, roughly, the Battle of Yavin. And there was a ship that came over and crashed in the beginning of the episode, and they're putting together a hunting party to go search the ship. And then we cut back to the planet that Andor was on, and we're trying to do some research here and figure out who Andor was, and looking through the maps and stuff. And Andor gives this chick something, and this is where I kind of fell asleep. Once they went back to the island, I kind of nodded off a little bit, and I had to go back, but I really didn't follow what was going on here. And so she goes up on this pole here, and
Put out a bulletin.
these guys are,
men wanted for questioning. Slam the channels
this
for plumbing.
guy is just so cool.
Set up a desk here to
He's
monitor
trying to
anything
put
that comes
together a group who wants to go find who killed their friends. I'm more interested in this guy's story than I think I am of Andor. I could do without the cheesy uniforms. They look like, you know, they bought them at Party City. It's a cool, you know, looking uniform. It just needs to be tightened up, a little tailored a little bit more. But I guess that's what you get when you live on this grungy world, and you know, you're trying to, you know, just survive without the Empire. So you're not really going to complain about the size of your uniform, I guess. But they, you know, then we flash back to this planet with the kids, and they're going to they're going to go look and check out the spaceship that crashed, and that's where it ends, and that's where we end up with episode 1. Couple of things, world building I can see in there. Pretty decent world building. I must say, is, you know, this episode I think is better than Kenobi. I think it's better than any episode that Kenobi had, including the episodes with Vader. I think it is a slow burn, and I'm you know what? As a Star Wars fan who's wearing a Spock shirt, I think slow burn is Star Wars. I don't think action is Star Wars, and I think that's where the sequel series went wrong. Is the sequel series went action, and if you want, you know, Star Wars action, you know, every minute of every second of every movie, play a video game. If you go back to the original trilogy, you know, of course, Star Wars had its action scenes in the Death Star and TIE fighter battles with the Millennium Falcon. It had the Death Star chase sequence inside when they get out of the trash compactor. It had, you know, the big dog fight at the end to blow up the Death Star, but mostly it was a slow burn. You had to build a world in order for us to believe the world. You can't just throw us in there and hope that we're going to, you know what's going on, or not even know what's going on, because, you know, people are pretty smart. They could figure out what's going on. I think it is a matter of caring what's going on. And I think a slow burn where you're where you build the story. I think that's what Star Wars needs. I'm glad it's back. I'm looking forward to the next episode next week. We'll be back. We will cover episode 2 and 3 before episode 4 comes out next week. Just keep it on the channel here and make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon for notifications for when we come on. I hope to have Jeff on. I know he is looking forward to talking about this show, and maybe one day we can get our schedules together. But in the meantime, thank you very much. If you've watched this far and you liked it, I thank you very much. Hit the like and subscribe if you didn't like it. But I thank you for watching anyway. I appreciate the time that you have. We look forward to seeing you again on the next episode of our Geek and I reviews. This is Andor. Talk to you later.